Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. This is the Renault Kiger, which is Renault's version of the Nissan Magnite, and just look at it. Doesn't it look gorgeous? But before we start, let me share some useful information with you guys. Did you know that one major aspect that increases the on-road cost of your new car is the insurance you buy from the dealer? I would highly recommend you to get a quote for your new car from Acco Insurance on acco.com and save up to 50% because they don't charge any commission. It's completely online, very easy to purchase within a few minutes and involves zero paperwork. If you're looking to purchase insurance for your new or old car, head directly to acco.com. And back to the vlog, straight away we are going to be opening the engine bay of this vehicle. You can hear it a bit, of course you can, because 3-cylinder engine, you can see the movement, it is moving around, yeah. The vibrations are there, there's insulation right there on the top. The engine bay is actually quite compact. The design of the car is very Renault with a very big bold, that's what she said, Renault logo at the front. Of course, grille looks nice, you have the chrome treatment as well. Now, this happens to be the LED DRL, okay. These happen to be the headlights of the car. Now, this is actually for the high beam. It says Pure Vision on the inside. Bugatti Chiron kicked in here, maybe probably because it seems inspired from there, because the cube lights seem very similar to the one on the Chiron. It says Renault on the inside, but then both are French cars, so you really cannot complain as such. Alright, you see the aggressive bumper, kind of like the cuts and creases there, of course. And here is actually the indicator. It doesn't double up, the LED dial does not double up as the indicator. There's a towing hook. Meanwhile, when you come to the side, you realize this car is slightly less in terms of length when compared to the Nissan Magnite. In fact, the Nissan Magnite is also wider. However, this is actually taller. You get the black body cladding as well. The wheels are 16 inches. The design is really nice. In fact, you can get a splash of red on these as well, because I think there are 5 accessory packs too. 195/60/16 is the size of the tire. You can see the suspension. Now it says RXZ, which is the trim level. Blackened out outside rear view mirrors. Again, blackened out treatment everywhere. The roof is blackened out. You get roof rails which are finished in silver. In fact, the C-pillar is also blackened out, giving you the floating roof treatment, and of course the roof line is actually sloping. Car looks really bold and nice. Kind of looks like a jacked up Kwid, maybe a Kwid on steroids. But when you come to the rear, you will absolutely love the C-shaped tail lights. They look really nice. The attention to detail is amazing. LED of course, but this is not LED, happens to be halogen, says turbo right there. In order to reduce the visual bulk, they have given the bumper black treatment and a fake skid plate as well. However, the cuts and creases, the attention to detail, the way the rear spoiler is also done, everything seems very nice and attractive. A lot of attention and time has actually gone in making this car look the part, and trust me, it does. You get rear parking sensors. Here is where the reverse parking camera is. Where is the exhaust? Well, the exhaust happens to be here. However, there is no fake exhaust on this car on the outside, so no need for the fingers of truth today, thankfully. I actually like the way this car looks so bold. The ground clearance also happens to be 205 mm, which again gives it a very bold stance. Trust me, this car is actually going to sell for its looks alone. Now, it's not just about looks, because space is also amazing on this car. Firstly, the loading lip is a bit too high, but the boot is actually the biggest in the segment, 405 liters or so. And below here, you get the spare wheel, which doesn't happen to be an alloy. In fact, it's a 185/65/15, smaller sized of course. Alright, you get a hook here, well, a hook on that side as well. 60/40 split folding seat. When you split forward the seat, the boot carrying capacity becomes more than double. Yeah, that side more than double. And I don't know why they have the piano black finishing here. Just waste of piano black color. No one's actually going to go and see that. Anyways, this actually feels quite light, easy to close to. You get a rear wiper washer, and this seems to come from the Triber. 2 animals sitting, one behind and the car stuck in between. This actually doesn't look reassuring at all. It looks like someone is trapped here. But anyways, an Easter egg which many car makers are doing right now. Of course, you get keyless entry. Now, the space at the rear is also very impressive. Packaging is nice. The seat recline angle is also very good. Meanwhile, the door pockets are also big enough. Now it gets 8 speakers, and I mean it has 4 speakers and 4 tweeter speaker. Same is the case at the front as well. 3D surround sound system from Archimedes, which we'll talk about in a bit. Let's get inside. There is a good amount of knee room and leg room. In fact, under thigh support is also decent here. Decent under thigh support. Headroom is good. Yeah, headroom is good. Just that, because my hair is spiked, it's touching on the roof. But most people won't have a problem with the headroom. There's a handle here. There's a handle there as well. There is no handle on the driver's side. Light placement in the center, both at the front and the rear. But obviously, it doesn't get a sunroof. Meanwhile, you get two adjustable headrests. No adjustable headrest for the center passenger because obviously he doesn't have a head, but he has legs. That's the reason the floor is flat. You get a 12-volt charging socket. Maybe that should be a USB. You get rear AC vents. No scooped out seat back, but magazine holders have been given here. And there's a center armrest with twin cup holders and a phone holder too. Look at the way they have actually done the treatment on this side, you know, so that your hands have grip, rather your elbow has grip when you put it there. Again, nice treatment on the seats. Feels really nice. When you rub it, actually, why would you rub it? When your back actually touches it or your head touches it. Adjustable headrest, thankfully. Now, in order to recline the seat, it's very easy. You can just do it like that, which I'll show you in a bit. Parcel shelf area is also big enough. Rearward visibility is also good. Let's close this. Let's get outside. Getting in and out, no problem at all. Isofix child seat mounts, of course. And there, you can recline the seat to increase the boot carrying capacity. Alright, let's close the door. Before that, you can see it almost opens 90 degrees. Take that, Tata Altroz. Okay, it's lesser than 90 degrees. You see, Tata Altroz opens like this. This still opens quite a bit. Easy to get in and out of the car. Now the car is running on, I think, CN tires, where grip levels should be okay-ish, not great. Mud flap right there. It obviously gets keyless entry and push button start as well. The dashboard design is actually a mix of tri-bar and Magnite. Okay, seat gets the height adjust function. The door pockets are actually big enough. These are controls for the power windows. This is obviously for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. And again, this treatment, like Renault has put a lot of effort in terms of the design language. It says clean air because it gets a PM 2.5 air filter. That's also nice. But there is no dead pedal on offer, which is very surprising and disappointing at the same time. Okay, this is kind of weirdly done switch. In fact, switches of Renault cars are very different. This is actually to open the hood of the car. It's like the choke button you used to see on motorcycles earlier. Renault on the mat. I think these mats are obviously optional. Meanwhile, the seats are quite comfortable. Nooren feels really sick today. What happened?
Early morning.
Early morning is not her cup of tea for sure, but if she had a cup of tea, she would have felt better. Anyways, coming back to the vlog of the car, the dashboard is all black. Yeah, but still it kind of feels on the airier side. This is an 8-inch screen. Meanwhile, AC vents, controls here. Now what happens is when you lock the door and you try to open the door, this does not get unlocked. You have to always press the button. I like the AC controls. They look really nice. The storage space here on the top. There's a wireless charging pad below. Okay, plenty of storage spaces on offer. In fact, look at the size of the glove box. That's quite big. That's what she said. And there's another glove box on the top. So twin glove boxes. That's very practical. This car gets 4 airbags. Okay, 2 at the front, 2 on the side. No auto dimming inside rear view mirror. There's a mirror here. There's also a mirror here. Surprise, surprise. On the driver's side, steering wheel feels nice. Of course, it gets the piano black finishing. These are the controls for the audio system. These are the controls for that instrument cluster. And that happens to be a 7-inch TFT screen right there, which is very nice because it's got 3 modes. Yeah, you can change the modes. You can see the color changes. Yeah, looks super duper awesome. Specifically when the car actually comes from there. Yeah, you can see the car actually goes through. Quite nice, quite different, quite unique as well. On the sides, you obviously have the fuel meter as well as a temperature meter and telltale lights everywhere. And this is the odometer. It has a G-force meter. It also tells you how much power and torque you're consuming. Not the number, but in terms of graph. So let me accelerate. You can see that. Yeah, that's also pretty cool. This happens to be the distance to empty. Now you can change all that information because it's got twin trip meters right there. And that's not all. See, press a button. You can see the fuel economy. You can see the fuel history as well. So lot of information. The best is 17 kilometers per liter, although the claimed mileage happens to be an obnoxious 20 kilometers per liter. Yeah, that's a lot of fuel economy. Here you get trip data. So yes, this is actually a very loaded instrument cluster. It also tells you in how much time you have to service the car. I actually like this instrument cluster. These are the buttons to operate that. These are obviously the buttons which I already told you about. These are the controls for the headlights. Yeah, the indicator lever is on the right side. This is obviously for the wipers, and you see there is only one nozzle which puts 3 sprays. Decent amount of water on the windscreen. Wipers work decently well as well. Meanwhile, this is the start stop button. Plenty of storage space. Handbrake is on the co-driver side, so if you want to drift, that person can pull it whenever he wants. Anyways, below the front center armrest, there's storage space. In fact, there's a lot of storage space here. Twin cup holders, and you can actually remove this. Yeah, this can be removed. There you see, you can actually increase the depth if you so wish. Let's put it back. This is made of rubber. You can take this home, put your coffee, get it back. That's cool. This is so inspired from Jaguar or probably the Tata Tiago as well. This is the button for the ambient lighting. Check the ambient lighting. Yeah, that is the ambient lighting of the car. It's white colored, unlike in the Magnite, which is having something different. These are obviously the controls for the drive modes, which also changes the instrument cluster color. Now this is a nice screen because it obviously gets Apple CarPlay, it gets Android Auto connectivity. Let's get into vehicle. There's something known as driving eco, which gives you eco scores, so you get pumped up about driving more efficiently. Not that I really care about that. Let's play radio right away. Audio quality is actually quite impressive. Let's get into reverse to see the quality of the reverse parking camera. Yeah, quality is okay. It doesn't get adaptive guidelines. Quality could have been better without a doubt. Now the steering wheel gets the height adjust function. Yeah, only height adjust function. Meanwhile, the mirrors are actually decent sized, big enough, give you a good view of what's around. See the stitching on the steering wheel? Like I told you, they've put a lot of attention to detail in terms of the aesthetics of the Renault Kiger. In fact, you can see chrome treatment there, chrome treatment here as well, just for that premium appeal. But how is it to drive? Well, let's get going straight away. Alright, we are all set to go. First and foremost, let me turn off the air conditioning. Air conditioning off. You can feel the vibrations. Yeah, there are vibrations at idle, of course. Handbrake down into first gear. Let's get into eco mode, because we really don't need to be in any sportier mode because the road ahead is very bad. So first we're going to be judging the ride quality of this car, and let me tell you that the ride is actually quite good. The only problem is that over bad bumps now this car can't really cope up. So over bad bumps it gets rattled for sure, but high speed stability is still quite impressive. The suspension gets quite noisy, very noisy in fact. Yeah, you can hear a lot of the suspension and the road noise as well as the tire noise. And obviously this is a budget car, so plastic quality is also not the best. Now it doesn't have traction control system, but then it also doesn't get an around view monitor. Both of them are actually available in the Nissan Magnite. So yeah, Renault has cut some features in order to offer better aesthetic appeal, because in terms of pricing now you really cannot differentiate between both the cars. The pricing of both the cars is more or less the same. You can hear a lot inside the cabin. You know what, it doesn't get height adjustable seat belts, but the design attention to detail is massive, and that's what makes
इतना टेढ़ा है कैमरा, it's completely off.
Alright, we will get into sport mode right away. Into first gear, revving the motor, revs all the way till 6,500 RPM. First gear 52, into second. Second gear, don't tell me it's going to cross 100 kilometers per hour in second gear. No, it does not. 96 kilometers per hour in second gear. But before anything else, let me tell you the pricing of this car. It starts at rupees 6.39 lakhs and goes all the way to 11.31 lakhs. And they are freaking 24 variants on offer, because every trim actually has a dual tone color option. And there are actually 4 trims on offer. There are 4 powertrains on offer as well. I know you guys are like, the car is so fast, but that's because you are on a downslope. However, it takes only around 11 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, which makes it quite quick. Like I was telling you, there are 4 powertrain options, and we are driving the turbo petrol manual. There is the turbo petrol automatic, which happens to be a 5-step CVT that actually produces 8 Newton meters less torque when compared to the manual. So the torque output happens to be 152 Newton meters in the automatic. Meanwhile, in the manual, the torque output happens to be 160 Newton meters. Power is 100 horsepower, 100 bhp of power. It's a 1 liter 3-cylinder engine, and that 3-cylinderness can be felt, where of course in the higher end of the rev range and ideal as well. But for the most part, the engine is very refined indeed. It is smooth in the mid-range. It has some lag. Drivability is not the best, but once you get past around 1800 RPM, it pulls nice, strong and linearly all the way to around 5,500-6,000 RPM, and then obviously you can feel a lot of vibrations inside, but red lines at 6,500 RPM. As you can see, performance is very nice in the mid-range, and there we see, I think it's a Peacock. Wow, that is a nice sight to behold. So now you notice that the gearbox is actually not the smoothest in terms of shifts. You have to give it a slight push and a nudge at times, and the clutch is also not the lightest around. Around the corners you can feel some amount of body roll. Yeah, there's quite a lot of body roll, and the steering wheel doesn't really offer you good feel or feedback as such. Braking performance is nice actually, but again, nosedive under heavy braking.
I saw the Peacock flying for the first time in my life.
I know, right? Back to the vlog. quite a lot of wheel spin on offer. So the engine is actually quite nice without a doubt. Claimed mileage is 20 kilometers per liter, which again is very impressive a fuel economy from the Kiger. And around the corners, that body roll is just so evident. But what's good now is the fact that it gives you a good view of what's around. So yes, the driving position is nice indeed, and that nose dive under heavy braking is the only disturbing part from otherwise what is actually a well sorted chassis in terms of the overall balance. Now of course this car is running the CM FA Plus platform, which it shares with the Triber as well as the Magnite, which is an evolved platform when compared to the Kwid, but similar in that sense. Now you see the steering is actually quite light. Yeah, steering is extremely light, which makes it extremely easy to drive this car, easy to twirl, easy to park. And onto the gas. Here, listen to the sound of the motor. In the top end of the rev range, it gets a little thrashy and boomy as well. Not really very comfortable there, but put that aside, you know, you're actually going to enjoy driving this car just because of the engine. The engine is absolutely sensational without a doubt, and this is a very light car. You know, weighs how much? Just 1040 kgs, which is the reason why it's so quick from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. And there you see it crashes through the bumps because it's not able to take bad roads in its stride. It needs a good road. So the suspension and the chassis is not in the same league as the Duster, which set a benchmark many years back and still holds that benchmark in terms of ride and handling balance and steering feel as well. It gives more than the amount of feedback you would need. This steering wheel doesn't give you much feel or feedback. It's just light and kind of lifeless in that regard. It actually revs fast enough. Now this car is priced at rupees 10.16 lakhs on road Mumbai. Meanwhile, the turbo range actually starts at rupees 8.32 lakhs. Yeah, which actually seems quite a lot of value for money for the kind of performance it offers and also the kind of features it offers without a doubt. Now it also gets the Triber's engine. Now both the engines obviously 1 liter 3-cylinder units, but with turbo it has got more oomph of course. However, that 1 liter naturally aspirated engine produces just 72 horsepower and 96 Newton meters of torque. You get a 5-speed manual gearbox or the option of a 5-speed AMT unit as well, and again the same as the Triber. Now you end up paying 20,000 more for the dual tone colors, or rupees 1.15 lakh more for of course the automatic, the CVT in this case, which offers decent performance and the convenience, but a manual is a manual. Obviously the CVT is slower, but rubber band effect is also there in it, but it's slightly better, well contained. Obviously with time CVT gearboxes are improving without a doubt. Still, I would suggest to opt for the manual because it obviously offers much better performance. Rumblers, yeah, you can feel that it does rattle the car quite a lot. Like I told you, it doesn't really enjoy bad roads, it really enjoys good roads. The Duster actually enjoys bad roads, which is the irony here, because you would expect the same level of suspension performance from all Renault cars. Now the pricing is of course more or less similar to the Magnite. The Magnite gets certainly slightly more features. This car though feels exactly like the Magnite. Both of them offer stellar value for money pricing. But why would you buy the Kiger over the Magnite even though both of the cars are very similar? It's simply because Renault's sales and service network is just better. Meanwhile, these 3 drive modes, they alter the engine as well as the steering feel. Obviously in eco mode, the performance dulls and the steering is on the lighter side. In sport mode, it is slightly better, the steering wheel, but still not up to the mark. And of course, the performance is also better. In the automatic variant, the CVT, these modes also alter the gearbox performance. Right now, it doesn't make a difference. Obviously, this is a manual. So as I see it, the Kiger has all the good bits of the Magnite, but builds on top of it by offering you a stellar design. The Magnite also looks stellar, but the Kiger just looks so much better, and that is one of the reasons why it will outsell the Magnite quite easily. The Magnite has been a sales success all thanks to the aggressive pricing, and considering Renault has also nailed the pricing, this car should also sell in great numbers. So guys, this is my vlog of the Renault Kiger. If you liked it, make sure to give it the thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.
लेफ्ट लेना है सर।
अच्छा